Welcome to this week's game news show. What am I doing? Anyway, welcome to this week's game news show. We're talking a lot about Xbox this week. It's almost all Xbox, so just buckle up. It's gonna be fun. Let's get to our first thing we've got going on. All right, coming soon to Game Pass. I always like covering these when there's like a couple of games in here that I might enjoy. But I know for a fact that Celeste is a good game, so I think that's cool. Highly recommend checking it out. The rest of these, I don't know. Toem looks cool. Photo Adventure. Wandering Village looks neat. Just based on the covers, these all look decent. I remember Serious Sam back in the day. It looks like it could be fun. So, yeah, check it out. While we're talking about Game Pass, Game Pass Core was announced. RIP Xbox Live Gold. Introducing Game Pass Core coming this September. We all kind of knew this was coming to some degree. It had long since been time for Microsoft or Xbox to kill off games with gold. The last 2 or 3 years have been very disappointing with like 1 or 2 good games over the last couple of years. And, it's all about Game Pass now. The only thing is, and if they have the graphic here, okay, we'll get to the graphic then. If you sign up if you have gold, it just becomes core, right? Cool, makes sense. You're just now a Game Pass subscriber. You still have your access to multiplayer, which is likely why you were paying for gold in the first place. There's some discounts and stuff that come with it. There's 25 Game Pass games that you'll have access to. A decent list. Some of the highlights: Among Us will probably get some people in. Doom Eternal, Fable Anniversary, Forza Horizon 4, which is surprising. Gears 5, Halo 5. The story isn't fun. Like, it's not good, but the gameplay is really, really good. And so it's a mixed bag for me because I like it, but I also don't like it. Halo Wars 2, I still need to play that. It's been far too long. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, fantastic. So it's a mixed bag, but a lot of first-party games that are worth checking out. Celeste, former Indie Game of the Year winner. Why is Horizon 4 surprising? Because aren't they on Horizon 5? That was the last. Horizon 4 was the British one, and now they're in Mexico. And so it's weird that the last version of Forza Horizon would be in this list, but not the current one, which is already old, or a couple of years old. I think it came out 21. But now, Horizon 4 is a good game. I like it a little better than 5, but it's just surprising they wouldn't push people to the latest game and bump up those player numbers. That's why 4 comes with core. So this chart, I hate. Tangent, very shortly. Stop making charts, game companies. Stop making diagrams to explain what version I'm going to buy. Stop making charts for what tier I'm about to subscribe to. Stop it. They all are terrible. Find new chart people. You make Excel, Microsoft. How is your chart this confusing? Now, it looks simple on the surface, but did it come out late 22? Nice. All right. Well, either way, I mean, we're 23 now. So, this chart, which I can make a little bigger because let's just dive into it. I would presume that this is a tier list where each block is better going to the right. Ultimate being the best and coming with everything that the previous blocks have. But that doesn't seem to be the case because of the bullet points themselves. So if you have gold, you get converted to core. Woo! But if you're looking to sign up to Game Pass, you might as well just buy Ultimate because core and console are wonky, and you need core to play multiplayer, but console doesn't explicitly say it comes with online console multiplayer, and it's $1 more than core. So do you have to get both, or do you just buy Ultimate? I've heard people talk about this today, actually. Looking at this chart, I was kind of neutral about the launch of Game Pass Core because it just converts a bunch of gold people, and then that's really the end of it. But then if like somebody's looking to upgrade, the only good path is Ultimate. Going up one tier doesn't help. Looking at this chart, firmly feel like core and console will be merged, and it will cost $10 still at some point. but you will lose the new games on day one, but keep the full Game Pass console library. I could see that happening. I just don't see Core sticking around too long because it's almost too many choices and they're too confusing. Hopefully, the backlash has Core and console merged is Ultimate. Well, not quite though, because if I don't play on PC, I don't need PC Game Pass. So like that's pretty much my argument is if I'm a console only player and want to play online but also want Game Pass, compel me with a different tier. Merge Core and console, make it $10 and lose either the new games on day one or lose the member deals and discounts. They won't offer multiple services for less than $17. I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's strange. Honestly, I think the other route they should take, and a lot of people have said this, but it makes the most sense. Drop the paid requirement for console multiplayer. Drop it entirely. Make a brave choice. And then maybe Nintendo and Sony follow suit. Because then it's like, well, I don't have to pay for multiplayer on PC or Xbox now. They won't do it, but that would be the better choice. I think it would make the most sense. But Core and console should be one tier. Like everybody should have been converted to console. Console should have just added online console multiplayer. Game Pass Core doesn't make sense in the take his drop console option entirely. Well, you still want people to access the Game Pass library, and there probably are people who don't want to play online, but even then, just don't play online. Like, I think splitting it in two tiers, it feels temporary. It feels super temporary. I don't think it's going to be around for very long. I give it a year. This time next year, they'll either announce the end of it, or they just won't talk about it anymore, and then all of a sudden, a new tier will show up, and it'll be like Game Pass Basic or something silly. But anyway, that's enough about that. Yeah, it's kind of silly. Goodbye Gold, I guess. I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion other than this chart sucks and the options are silly. You might as well just buy Ultimate. And so as an Ultimate subscriber, the value is definitely there. But also I got 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate when I bought my Xbox, so yeah, I'm not paying for it yet, but next year we might have a conversation about paying for it and see how we feel. All right, moving on. Tangential Xbox news. After Major Nelson, Larry Herb, longtime face of some Xbox social media projects way back in the 360 days, original Xbox days, had a lot to do with the social management and social outreach, community management for Xbox, and just an all-around cool guy. Tweeted on July 14th, after 20 incredible years, I've decided to take a step back and work on the next chapter of my career. As I take a moment to think about all we've done together, I want to thank the millions of gamers around the world who have included me as part of their lives. And there's other stuff, but there's too many replies, and I'm not going through it. Hasn't really said what he's going to do. Sad to see him go. But, I mean, he's been doing Xbox stuff for the last 20 years. I mean, I could see wanting a change. One of my favorite interactions with Major Nelson is he was doing some stuff on Reddit, and people were asking. It wasn't quite an AMA. He was just responding to stuff. And maybe it wasn't AMA. But anyway, I asked him for podcast advice, and he responded and then DM'd me. Like, I was able to DM him some, like, further questions. And he kind of motivated me to get a podcast started. Now, that podcast no longer exists, but his advice stuck with me and it was super awesome. And I just appreciate it. So shout out Major Nelson. Thanks for just being one of the best personalities related to Xbox stuff ever. All right, let's move to the next thing. Call of Duty. Okay, this isn't quite... We'll get into the big Xbox stuff in just a moment, but I forgot to put this up here. They put out a poll, Call of Duty on Twitter. Should Modern Warfare 2 operators, weapons, and bundles carry forward into Call of Duty 2023? And both answers are yes, but yes when is revealed. I mean, it should. But anyway, so then they announced that they're going to talk about the next game, Call of Duty 2023, in the Season 5 announcement and all the other stuff related to moving to the new game. So leaks are saying it's Modern Warfare 3. That wouldn't surprise me, but I thought they were doing like a staggered release, like every year was a different Call of Duty release, and then like on the odd years or the even years or whatever, like Infinity Ward's Call of Duty would come out. Or I don't know how it's structured anymore. There's so many studios involved. The franchise is so huge. But anyway, taking you off guard because Modern Warfare 2 came out. They said they were taking a year off. Right. Like, I was pretty sure if they did of course they were doing a Call of Duty 23, but I figured it would be like a Black Ops or something along those lines, a Treyarch game, but not an Infinity Ward. I don't even know if Infinity Ward's still working on this stuff. I'm so behind on Call of Duty news and like the latest with that. But is what it is. So yeah, kind of interesting, and I'm kind of looking forward to that because I remember when the Cold War, Black Ops Cold War announcement happened. Warzone was actually kind of fun for a little while, so that was cool. All right, speaking of Call of Duty, the classic Call of Duty titles on Xbox are experiencing a player resurgence. Apparently, Activision did some stuff to the servers. This is coming from Windows Central. I've heard that people tried to play Call of Duty. I tried to hop in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby a long, long time ago, and it was just cheaters, and it was weird. But now it's like playable, and I don't know what they did or didn't do or what, but this is kind of cool. Black Ops 1 is seeing like mega huge numbers. I don't know if they have them in here. 100,000 going back to playing Black Ops. It was more than that the last I saw, but that's insane that more people were playing this than modern games, honestly. And it's not I don't think more people were playing this than Warzone, but I do think that the number of people playing classic titles is significant. And who knows, like that doesn't really, Activision is going to do what they're going to do no matter what. But I thought it was neat. I kind of miss the way like Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 2 worked back in the day. World at War was a blast. Playing the zombies modes used to be fun. So like, yeah, it's cool. I've thought about popping in and see. They legit said no game in 2023, I swear. I seem to remember something about a break, but I haven't heard anything on that. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what they announce. All right, let's get into some of the legal stuff. So I don't know if we talked about it. We didn't because we were out. But long story short, before we dive into this, setting some context here. The FTC tried to sue Microsoft to stop the Activision Blizzard deal because reasons. The judge ruling was that no, they can't. And so then the FTC tried to appeal, and the court was like, nah, you're good. So let's see, where does this article go? So this was they wanted an appeal for the decision that was made in last week's thing, and the judge was like, nah, you're good, get out of here. So great, that's done. Well, then we still have the UK's is it Competition and Markets Authority? Competition. The UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal has agreed with some requirements. Okay, so basically, Microsoft and the British FTC need to figure things out, and that's kind of weird because the close date for the Activision Microsoft deal, Xbox deal, was today. I believe they negotiated an extension, and that's not surprising given how much pushback they've seen. Whether or not you want this deal to go through, the amount of pushback is significant, and I'm concerned that the regulating authorities did not understand the state Activision is in, and so having this deal go through actually benefits everyone involved: gamers, employees, Xbox. Like it pushes out a lot. It makes room to push out a lot of the decay and cancer that is Activision Blizzard, at least in some degree. But I'll leave it at that. So yeah, the CMA, apparently the talks have been good. In that is finally revealed, Sony finally agrees to a 10-year Call of Duty deal. I just went through The Verge and found it was all these articles back to back, so it made sense to put this all together. But with this whole deal, Sony finally agreed to a 10-year Call of Duty deal with Microsoft, which is kind of what was on the table originally. Again, shout out Verge for just being awesome. Phil Spencer tweeted this. It's apparently the Nintendo deal was a little bit better in that it included other Activision games, or could include other Activision games, but PlayStation only is guaranteed Call of Duty. Who knows what they're gonna do, man? It is what it is. Microsoft wants to make money, so if it means putting a game on PlayStation gets more sales, they're gonna do that. That's why they put Minecraft on PlayStation. That's why MLB, the show, came to Xbox. Well, that and the MLB was like, hey, this needs to be on more than just PlayStation. But anyway, yeah, Tom Warren's great. His coverage of this has been pretty solid. I'm more of a Twitter follower than a go read The Verge guy, but I wanted the article in case there's anything good in here. And there were the tweets. I'm just kind of scrolling fast through it because I'm not going to sit here and just read the whole thing. But the 10-year agreement is fantastic for PlayStation fans. And Microsoft's not going to not put Call of Duty on PlayStation unless there is reason not to. Like Starfield, Microsoft needed a good exclusive, and it was coming to PlayStation at one point, but then Microsoft was like, never mind, make it exclusive. But the 10-year deal, it just means that, to me, it signals that Microsoft had no intention of making Call of Duty exclusive, because they were the ones that offered it to everyone initially. So, here's what I was talking about earlier. The CMA says discussion with Microsoft about Activision Blizzard acquisition has been productive, which means Microsoft is probably going to have to make some significant concessions in Britain. Okay, whatever that ends up meaning, we'll find out soon, I imagine. So, they're trying to push this out. They really need to quit trying to draw this out because it's coming to a close, whether or not they want it to. This is courtesy of Tech Raptor. I don't know. I've never really looked at this site before, but this is the one link I found that talked about it. So it's kind of cool. All right, let's talk about some games stuff and move on from Microsoft. I'm sorry for coughing, but that snuck up on me. Okay, Assassin's Creed. Anybody remember Codename Jade? Because I was reminded of that today, and I went and signed up as soon as I found out this is a thing. Mobile Call of Duty set in China. We'll see what it's like. I don't know. If it's a controller supported game, I'm all for it. If you give me a controller on a mobile game, I'm more likely to play it. But I definitely want to check it out. I registered for the whatevers. I'm excited to see what it amounts to. It's free. It's a mobile game. It's Assassin's Creed. What's not to love? I don't know. We might stream it. We've streamed mobile games before, and it's been an experience. So we'll do that soon. But yeah, go sign up. Just I'm not the URL is way too long. Just search Assassin's Creed Jade, and it'll take you right to it. All right. Let's do them in this order. We'll do the Square Enix article first. Square Enix is considering remastering some of its older titles. And this is courtesy of Eurogamer. Square Enix is reportedly considering remastering some of its older titles after the success of the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster. Addressing questions at its 43rd annual shareholders meeting, refrained from sharing information about new titles, did acknowledge that it was considering various ideas about remastering older titles within the company. We hope you'll look forward to forthcoming announcements. Hopefully this amounts to Final Fantasy IX, personally. That was a remake that was rumored. I would play a Final Fantasy IX remake so fast. Especially if they did what Final Fantasy VII Remake did to combat, it would probably be a lot more fun. Not that there's anything wrong with turn-based, but I much prefer an action RPG these days. They're being tight-lipped on it, but I don't know what that amounts to. There's a lot of remastering and remaking titles that we see in movies a lot. In games, what ends up being a remake can mean different things. And so, is it a remake in the sense that Halo Anniversary was a remake? No, because Halo Anniversary was a reskin of classic Halo that looked newer and played the same. And that to me is the best route to go. It's more of a remaster, right? But a remaster doesn't always mean updated visuals. I would hope they would take the Metroid Prime remastered approach, where the game looks fantastic, has some slight adjustments to make the controls modern, slight adjustments to systems while preserving what made the original game so good. So, yeah, if you're a big Final Fantasy fan, be on the lookout for that. And, all right, now, this one was one I want to talk about. This is our last topic for tonight. Reboots of classic Sega games could be coming, especially Sonic. What does a reboot of Sonic mean when every single Sonic game is pretty much different unless it's a direct sequel? Well, Sonic Frontiers did really well and is a fantastic game. But let's look at the article. It's courtesy of DualShockers. More reboots and remakes of classic Sega games could be finding their way back to consoles if the top executive at the company has his way. Let's see. He went on to infer that Sega takes the idea of reboots and remakes into account when setting the course for its intellectual properties. Well, again, he singled out Sonic as a prime example. Of course, we have to do new things, but as with all IPs, we don't have new works or reboots. We'll develop while selecting which is appropriate at this time for each IP, such as this is the best way to do this IP. Sonic is also Sega's signature IP because nobody knows that. And in parallel with the new game, we're considering reboots and remakes. So what I would hope is that this means Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 get some kind of remaster that makes it better than the Xbox Arcade or Xbox 360 ports, that generation's ports. And then you get a proper Sonic Adventure 3, which is just Sonic 06, but better, right? I don't know. But I thought it's neat. I am concerned because I believe I saw something about Last of Us Part 2 already getting like a remake or remastered edition or whatever. And it feels too soon for that game. But then how many more times is Sega going to re-release Sonic 1? And the answer to that is infinity more times. Because every time there's a new platform, there will be a version of Sonic 1 on it. But are we pushing too far into old games to try to like, you got to move forward, but just make like a containerized version of a game or some really good emulators that can be ported so we can just keep playing those older games. But I guess they don't make money off of that, so they got to repackage it every generation. Which is really my big concern. Every time a new game or new remake is announced, what we end up with is just more sales for that game. But did it matter? Because like the people that bought it, like Last of Us, if that gets Last of Us Part 2 remake comes out, remaster comes out, the people that buy it are the people that already bought Part 2 and very few new people, I would imagine. They just want the better improvements or whatever that means for that, because that game is so new. Like, what are you going to change? Maybe an uncapped frame rate on PlayStation. I don't know. Anyway, all right, I'm way off base here. Let's close this out so we can get to the rest of the stream for tonight. That does it for this week's Game News Show. If you're watching live on Twitch, we're about to play Zelda. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Be sure to give this a like if you did. Dislike it if you didn't. Whatever. Be sure to subscribe, and thanks for checking it out. I hope you have a fantastic night. Come check out the Twitch channel. We're about to play Zelda. See ya.